Welcome to Under Investigation, Stories Beyond the Badge. Join a seasoned detective as he steps away from the crime scene and into the lives of fascinating individuals. Through candid interviews and thought-provoking conversations, we explore the stories that shape us, covering personal struggles, triumphs, and the powerful intersections of faith, family, and life. Each episode brings unique perspectives and inspiring insights from people living diverse, authentic lives. Now, let's dive into today's story.
Wow. Well, welcome back, everybody. I am your host, Mike, and welcome to Under Investigation. I appreciate everybody joining in and listening. Today we have a very unique interview with a friend of mine that I've known for several years. His name is Kevin. So welcome to the show, Kevin.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate you coming. Kevin has got a very unique story that, as we all know, the whole point of our show here is to go into the lives of ordinary people that have unique jobs or life stories, or anything that's of interest. And Kevin's he's got a very unique story. You've done a lot of different jobs.
I have.
You've got a very unique job right now, which is going to be really the focus of today's show. But I know this isn't true, but it kind of feels like you carry the launch codes.
I don't know about that. I'm not that important.
I don't know. I think you are. I think you're just humble. But no, your job right now, you just tell everybody just a little bit, a summary of what you do right now, and then we'll kind of break into your upbringing and kind of how you got to where you're at.
So I am a communications center lead at an air ambulance company that's based here in Minnesota. So I am responsible for dispatching air medical aircraft. So a fleet of helicopters and an airplane.
So one airplane and how many helicopters?
12.
Wow.
Yep.
Are they always all in service at the same time?
Usually that's the goal. But obviously things can affect that, such as maintenance, scheduled or unscheduled. Weather is our biggest factor. So a base could be out of service if the weather is that poor, where we can't fly. So we're mainly a VFR program, so visual flight rules, which means we can't fly into the clouds, and we have to have a certain ceiling above us to be able to fly between the ground and the clouds, and then a certain distance that we can see in front of us. So when the helicopters aren't flying, the airplane gets a lot of use.
Okay, interesting. Well, I'm fascinated by aircraft in general. So I'm looking forward to learning more about how calls are received, and just everything in general. But I want to talk about you for a little bit, just so our listeners have a chance to get to know you. So just tell me a little bit about yourself, where you were raised, kind of a little bit of your background, and we'll kind of go through some of your employment and really get into where you're at today.
Sure. So I was not born in Minnesota. A lot of people don't know that, but I was actually born in Memphis, Tennessee, of all places. You might not even have known that.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Did you guys get lost or what?
So my dad worked for an Illinois-based company, a manufacturing company that was nationwide.
Okay.
And he took a lot of job transfers growing up. So they're originally from the Illinois area, Chicago area. And I was born in Memphis, Tennessee. I have no recollection of Tennessee. But from there, moved to Fresno, California for about 4 years.
You lived in Fresno?
Yes, Fresno, California. And I have an interesting story regarding that, too, that'll kind of give you some insights onto the original career path that I chose. But
I had relatives in Fresno.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was just out there. Not just out there, but I was out there about 7 years ago for a funeral, and that was the end of that.
Okay, yeah. So I have some recollection of California.
How old were you when you were in California?
I was probably there from the age of 2 to about 4.
Ooh, good memory then.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then moved to Minnesota. So I consider myself Minnesotan.
Yeah.
Raised here.
Yeah, similar.
Raised in the city of Blaine. So North Metro. Went to Catholic grade school, Catholic high school. And then college, kind of split my time between community college and then Metro State.
All right. So what'd you major in at Metro State?
Law enforcement.
Okay.
So which kind of put us on the path of how we met.
Right.
So
you and I met at a agency that I still work for.
Yep.
And then you left there, but we've stayed.
I left.
Stayed in contact
almost 4 years ago now. So, but yeah, we have stayed in contact. Meet up a few times a year, and have a lot of mutual friends at that agency still. So,
right. So when you got out of college, what'd you do?
So, well, while in college and out of college, I was CSO, so community service officer part-time. Started with a North Metro agency. So from there, my mind was going down the law enforcement track.
Okay.
So continued that. Eventually progressed into the agency where you and I met at. So was full-time there as a CSO for 5 years.
Okay.
So
now I know this just from conversations outside of here, but weren't you like on the fire path as well?
Yeah. So I was unique and kind of did both. So
that is unusual.
Yep. So for another North Metro agency where I lived, I was a firefighter. So it was a fire district that comprised of 3 cities. So it was a paid on call fire department, paid for all my training. So fire training, hazmat training, EMT. And then eventually the city that I worked for, or one of the cities that was part of the fire district, was a very growing city, and they started their own fire department.
Oh, okay.
So I was part of something very unique and got to see a fire department built from the ground up.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So that was really interesting, and got my first taste of a leadership role there. So I was a lieutenant with that fire department. So it was, you got to build the culture of something brand new.
So when you say that you saw a fire department built from the ground up, I mean, what does that look like? I mean, you hire a chief first?
Yeah.
I mean, how does
so
that work?
they hired a chief first. That was first and foremost, and I'm sure he had a vision of, and along the lines of what the city wanted to do as well. So they took over one of the stations that was part of the fire district, and they had hire a company to come in and allocate assets, fire trucks, gear, all of that. And then we also literally built a fire station from the ground up. So we built a second station as well on another part of town. So, and had to get assets for that.
How long did that? I mean, looking at it from the time the decision is made to where you're up, and I'm sure you're always functioning because you have to be, but to have that fire department built and have those assets, whether it's trucks and gear, how long would something like, or how long did that take for you guys roughly?
It was probably 3 years.
Oh, so it's a process.
It is a process. So, and you kind of crawl, walk, run. So there was a time where both fire departments were in service, responding to the same calls.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That's awkward.
It is. So,
hey, what are you doing here? What are you doing here?
Just dealing with that and, trying to navigate just a new fire department and getting the kinks out and, building that culture.
And is that fire department still in service today?
Absolutely.
They didn't fold or
Nope.
anything like that? Okay.
Nope. So they're going even stronger today because I think now they have at least a full-time daytime duty crew. So.
Oh, okay. All right.
So they branched out from the paid on call and went full-time.
Had you, now you talked earlier that, in college and community college, you were kind of going the law enforcement route. Now you went the fire route for a little bit.
I did.
Had you, maybe I don't want to put you in a corner, but I'm going to. You ever wish that you would have gone full-time fire?
Sometimes. But honestly, law enforcement was all I knew. And so I kind of wanted to branch out and see another side of it. And it was challenge-wise, it was the most demanding thing I had ever done.
As a firefighter?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yep. Physically.
And you can't say that on
mentally.
my show.
I know, but yeah. So that was a personal challenge for me, just to kind of prove to myself that I could do it too. So
yeah,
Yeah. But sometimes I wish I would have gone that route, but other times, I'm happy the way things work out.
Yeah.
So
There's a plan.
there's
always
a
a plan.
Yep.
It's not always our plan, but there's a
Nope.
plan.
Nope. And that's one thing I've learned in life. So
Yeah, exactly. So you and I worked at the same agency for a little while. Actually, 5
5 years.
It's so interesting because we had lunch before this, and we were kind of talking about that. And I'm like,
Yep.
in the back of my mind, I'm like, it just doesn't seem like it was that long ago.
It doesn't. It's almost already 4 years. It'll be 4 years in May. So
I think that it helps that, I mean this sincerely, but I think it helps that because we stay in contact.
yeah.
It doesn't seem that long ago where
Right.
if you would have left and I just called you last week and said, hey, come over
Yep.
to the studio, and it would have been different.
Yeah.
You
I
know, so
agree.
that's helpful. And I know when you don't, when you do have days off and you come down every once in a while,
I do. Yep.
we generally make a bigger deal out of it.
Yep.
And get the old crew together.
Yep.
so
We
to
sure
speak.
do.
So that's fun. Matter of fact, we'll have to do that again sometimes.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah. We try to do it a few times a year. So
So, you left the agency that I work for, and why'd you leave? I mean, because obviously you were gearing towards law enforcement.
I was.
What caused you to kind of switch gears?
It was a combination of things at the time. It was what was going on in the world of law enforcement at that time, which was a very turbulent time to say the least.
Very much.
And the second part of that is I've always been an aviation enthusiast, as you know. And it's still the emergency side of things. So for me, making the change was the best of both worlds. And I was getting out of that law enforcement realm and diving into something that I honestly was afraid to do. So it was a challenge, and
That was the word I was going to bring up.
Yeah.
Was that what you were looking for? Was a challenge?
in a sense, but stepping out of my comfort zone,
Okay.
definitely. So, and it actually took me over a year to get hired there. So, I did not get the job the first time around. So, tried again the second time around. About a year later, got hired.
So they gave in.
They did. They gave in.
Oh, this poor guy.
This guy keeps knocking on the door.
If we say no, he's gonna come back
Yep.
again. No, that's interesting. So you were just kind of looking for a change and
Yeah.
and aviation. So let's talk about the aviation side of things.
Sure.
What attracts you to aviate? What's your thing? Helicopters, jets?
I was a fan of airplanes probably before helicopters. I don't know why. They've always interested me, and I guess maybe it's the fact that you can just defy the laws of physics, constantly. But I'm the kind of guy that will purposely go sit at MSP Airport, watch planes. I've always got flight apps up looking at planes. So just something that's always interested me. I love traveling, so that's a big piece of it too. And I find the whole world of aviation fascinating.
So you're one of those guys that go down like with the cameras and sit at the
Well,
runways?
I don't have that fancy of a setup.
Oh.
So if a cell phone, cell phone's about as fancy as I get. So there are some people that have very expensive setups. And they take some great photos and videos down there. But MSP is a great spot to sit and watch planes.
I've been there.
Mhm.
I've actually what is it, the UPS or what?
Yeah, Cargo Road.
Yeah, I've been down there.
Spotters Park.
Yeah, I've been down there twice.
It kind of feels like you're going in a spot you're not supposed to be in.
You feel too close.
You do, because when you pop out of those tunnels, it like sticks you to about the middle of the airport. It feels.
Yeah, it was unusual. I've only done it once, but it
Yep.
was I had some time to kill, and
Yep.
I had a conversation with somebody, and honestly, I was on my way to the Mall of America.
Oh yeah.
I had like 2 hours to kill before I got there, so I'm like, oh, you know what? I know somewhere. So I pulled out the old Google machine.
Yep.
And I looked it up, and that's how I ended up there. And I mean, I enjoy aviation, but I don't generally go out of my way to
Sure.
go see something.
Mhm.
But I had time, and it was neat. It was neat. There was some guy up on a picnic table with a tripod trying to get
they'll
above
bring ladders. If the police department there allows it, people will bring ladders out to try to get a view above the barbed wire fence.
Oh, really?
And like I went out there for when Delta retired the 747,
Mhm.
probably 6 or 7 years ago now. So I went out there for that because they did a last 747 flight into MSP.
Oh, cool.
So, and that attracted hundreds.
Oh, I'm sure.
People.
I'm sure. Did you ever take any flight lessons or anything like that?
I have not, and that's probably a bucket list thing
Oh, there we go.
for me to do. It's just very expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Right now. So
I know a few people that have done that. I've got the best man in my wedding.
mm-hmm.
That's what he does. He's a corporate pilot now.
Yep.
Yeah, but I remember in college he was taking all the classes.
Right.
And, like, how do you afford this?
Oh, I know. I'd love to do it, but yeah, there's some of these flight schools where you can drop $100,000 easily.
Oof. But on the other hand, you can make $200,000 as a pilot, can't you?
You can, yeah, you definitely can. I know the airlines are kind of getting full up now.
But, are they filling up again?
Yeah,
Okay.
but for a while, man, they were hiring like crazy.
Oof. I don't know. I mean, I like aviation, but I'm more of I'm a helicopter guy.
Yeah, I hear you.
Something about helicopters that are just awesome.
Yeah. So, and fun fact too. So, the company I work for now, I actually did a fly along with them about 4 years before I worked for them.
Before you work for them?
Yeah.
They allow you to do that?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yep. So you can go on the website. I'll show you after, but yeah, you could request
the fanciest thing I ever did was for my birthday. I flew along with the Minnesota State Patrol Aviation Unit. Literally, it was on my birthday. I think my wife was out of town, and I'm like, hey, you care if I do this? No, it took a while to arrange it, though.
Sure.
They don't generally let civilians
Yep.
do it, but once I kind of, greased the wheels a little bit, showed them my ID, and then it was like, oh, okay.
I guess.
Yeah, and it was at the time when the fuel prices were up.
Oh,
so we didn't like go up and patrol.
Yeah.
We did get called out once, and he's like, well, as we were off the ground for 10 minutes and we got canceled. And he's like, well, while we're up, let's just take a quick tour of the loop.
There you go.
I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
So we flew over,
Yep.
Our, the agency that I work for. Wow. And I mean, it was kind of cool, but I was surprised at how small they are.
Yeah.
Like
there's
when
not
you're
a lot of room.
Like I was able to extend my arms on both sides,
Yeah.
and I was able to touch both sides.
Now trying to imagine caring for a patient.
Yeah.
In that environment.
Yeah, that's I don't know. But it was interesting because at one point during the flight, I shifted from the left side to the right side because he's like, if you look out on the right side, you'll see. And as I did that, I rocked the helicopter. And I'm like, it's not like I'm not a little guy, but I'm not a big guy.
Right.
To the point that I thought I would be able to affect it like that because he made some smart aleck joke about it. It's like, hey, But that's my only experience. Well, I don't want to say only experience, but public safety or EMS type thing, other than the helicopters that land at the little shows.
Oh yeah,
like a meet and greet or whatever.
PR events.
Yeah, PR stuff. So,
yep.
So you have been working. How long has it been since you've been working?
Almost 4 years.
So you've been at this place 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, what kind of people, that you see go into that career path, and B, what kind of people do you think the organization is looking for to go into that path?
So, we have people from all walks of life. We have people that were stay-at-home parents. You have other people like me who came from the law enforcement world. Some people that worked on an ambulance before. We have a person who built fire trucks previously.
Wow.
Yep. So honestly, it could be all kinds.
Are there any educational requirements per se?
Not necessarily. So they would prefer if you had some sort of kind of medical or EMS background. But like we tell all of our new people that start, nobody goes to school to dispatch aircraft or to dispatch anything, really.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a degree
right.
that I can go to my state college and get. It's just kind of something that you fall into.
Mm-hmm.
So it's unique from that standpoint. And it can be a challenge to hire for at times. Because you have to find somebody who can multitask, who can think outside the box, and who's comfortable working in the gray. Like, this field is not black and white. And they have to be comfortable handling multiple aircraft at once with, real aircraft, real people inside them. And you have the unpredictable variable of weather. You have pilot duty time, you have maybe a patient condition that's deteriorating. You have mechanical issues that could creep up, bird strikes, you name it. So there's a lot of factors.
Mm-hmm. So, the first thing I was thinking of, like, that sounds like a great retirement gig for me.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
But really, what does training look like? I mean, okay, I pass the tests or the interviews, whatever. I get hired. I start on Monday. What's that Monday look like, or what's that training period look like?
It's actually very similar to an FTO process.
Mm.
So we'll start with about 2 weeks of classroom training, just going over the company history. We'll get in pretty much with everybody. We'll dive into call intake right away. So who we're getting calls from, types of things that we're going to be asking during that call intake, listening to a lot of recordings, doing a lot of practice on our training side of our CAD system. And then from there, they'll hit the floor with a trainer for about a month at a time. So phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. So phase 1 will start on call intake so they can kind of build the foundation of what we do. And then phase 2 is definitely more of a blended of the call intake and the flight dispatching aspect. And then by phase 3, we hope is just more of a polishing and observation phase to where we can watch them take off, no pun intended, or maybe pun intended, on their own and got to be able to handle themselves. So we tell everybody it probably takes a year just to become comfortable in the job.
As mean, like, not getting nervous every time a call comes in?
Correct. Yep. Just having an idea on, okay, who am I going to send? What am I going to do?
If you take a typical random July night in the summer, right? How many, and I know there's a lot of variables, right, that we can't, so yeah, with it.
Right.
How many flights generally would go up on a Friday night that you're managing?
You want to talk about, middle of summer, maybe around 4th of July holiday?
Right. Yeah, there we go. That would be a good example.
30 plus flight requests. So there's difference. We have flight requests versus completions. So just being requested, at least 30 requests, and that's in a 12-hour period.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
I just didn't realize it was going to be that high.
Yep.
I was, in my mind, I'm like 6.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Wow. So I could tell the difference just in the title between requests and completions. What would cause a flight to be requested but not completed?
So it could be any number of things. The most common is that a lot of agencies will auto launch us. So they might not even know exactly what they have, but in their protocols, if it is a injury crash, if it is a fall from a certain height, they'll auto launch. And a lot of times we'll start and we'll get canceled because they'll get on scene and be like, oh, this isn't as bad as we thought.
It's a Band-Aid.
Exactly. Yeah. And you've been to, you and I both have been to a million calls where,
those,
the dispatched call says one thing and you get there and you're like, this is not matching up at all.
Yeah, it was right, not left.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So
no, I understand that. So canceled.
Yep. So canceled one. We may be requested, but I'm unable to fly due to the weather.
Yeah, makes sense.
So, or we could run into unforecasted weather en route. Have to turn around, abort the flight.
Oh, okay. Now, as the communications person, are you monitoring weather radar type stuff? Is that part of the job?
It is to an extent, but we also have an operations control center, which is in the same room as us, and that is more so their domain.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. So there's two teams.
Yep. So there's a comm side and an OCC side. So comm center and then operations.
And you work the comm side.
I work the comm.
Do you have experience in the operational side, or
I don't. Just it's a pretty hard line. The operations side, you'll get a lot of people who have maybe dispatched for an airline before, or maybe like a corporate jet program, something along those lines. So
what kind of things are those folks doing on the operations side?
So on the operations side, they weather is their primary thing. After that, pilot duty time. So pilots can only fly a certain amount of hours per the FAA. So it's a 14-hour duty day. So they have a whole...
Is that in the air? or working, quote unquote working?
Okay. So they have an algorithm that they follow that can calculate. They run all sorts of calculators if a flight looks like it might go beyond that period, and they can get an extension and all that if need be. But that's
general rule.
Yeah, general rule. They're looking at any upcoming maintenance issues for the airframe that specific pilot is in that day. Yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. So weather is the big thing, maintenance, pilot duty time. So they're the ones kind of handling those issues, coordinating with the comm side, so we can plan on our end too for any of those events.
So I want to respect the privacy of the organization. So I'm not going to say like what kind of helicopters or anything like that, but how fast do generally, like I again, I know tailwind, headwind comes into play, but
probably about 140, 150 knots.
Okay. And what is that in miles per hour for a dumb guy like me?
I was just say we're gonna have to pull out the calculator here.
Not happening, huh? Let me see. Let's think about this. Yeah. Nope, not happening.
Nope.
All right. So fast though.
Yeah.
I'm guessing fast.
Yep.
All right. And I just kind of wanted an overview of the operational side. Yeah. I certainly know that's not you're dealing with, but I was like, I didn't realize there was two sides.
There are two sides.
But it kind of makes sense though. I mean, you've got so much on your plate from the dispatch side, and is that what it's called? Is it technically what do you guys call it?
We call it the comm side, comm center. Okay. So, and so you can kind of equate it like the aviation side versus the more medical side or logistics side.
That's what I was picturing. You're getting the patient data, you're passing it on, doing it.
Yep. And the operations side, they try to keep the patient stuff out of their head. So they don't have access to even look at any of the patient information within CAD because they want to be able to make an impartial decision on if that flight is safe.
I was just thinking that. I'm like, you know what? They have to make a non-emotional decision.
And that's the same thing when we dispatch out a flight. We're not giving any patient info whatsoever until that flight's accepted. Because again, we don't want to tug on the heartstrings. We don't want to
3-month-old child, blah, 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 blah. Oh,
you might put yourself in a little more risky position with weather or what have you to complete that request.
Because the pilot in command, again, okay, I get that.
Yep. So we're not giving out any patient info. All they know is if it's an interfacility or a scene flight. That's it. But they don't know anything beyond that.
Wow.
Yep.
It makes sense.
It does.
It does make sense. Again, until you hear it, you don't necessarily think about it. Right. But you're like, oh, yeah, okay. So let's kind of go over a call. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you get your calls are generally incoming from where?
So our calls come in, I'll say one of three ways. They're coming in either an interfacility flight, so hospital to hospital. So you're either having a hospital call directly, usually a smaller hospital going to a bigger hospital, so higher level of care. So somewhere outstate coming into the Twin Cities, Rochester, Duluth, Fargo, Marshfield, Madison, Wisconsin type areas. So they either come in from the hospital or like a patient placement, patient transfer center at a hospital. Second way is from a 911 dispatch.
So a PSAP.
Yep.
Okay.
So they're calling in, requesting a helicopter, same way a hospital would. They'll either bring us right to the scene.
For that one listener who's like, what's a PSAP?
Mm-hmm.
Public safety answering point.
Yep.
It's like when you dial 911, those are the people that answer it. They're at the PSAP.
Yep.
Sorry. Getting into lingo you and I both know, but
I know we don't bat an eye at it.
That one listener that we got, like, what?
Yeah.
What is a PSAP? Public safety answering point. In other words, 911.
Yep, 911.
Okay.
Third way is my company has an app. So it is both a desktop app and a mobile app. So say it's a small town, small county, single seat dispatcher. They might not have the time to pick up the phone.
Do you see the look on my face right now? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
They can.
So they can go either on a web link that we give them, and they can give some very basic information as far as where they need the helicopter, and it'll pop up on our CAD.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And But I'm assuming there's only limited information if they're, or do they
Correct.
have a?
So it's not, you don't get the full maybe scope of the call like you would picking up the phone. But you get enough to at least get going. And then we're able to chat with them via that app.
Okay. That is crazy. I never knew that something like that. I mean, I'm not shocked. I mean, this day and age, of course, there's an app for it, right?
Yeah.
Do I get it at the Apple store?
Right. Right.
I want that app.
So yeah,
I never know.
Yeah. So dispatch agents can use it. The hospitals can use it too. If you're in a small hospital that maybe has an ER doc and 2 nurses, you know, again, they might be
fascinating.
arms deep and, you know, with a patient.
Yeah. In my mind, I'm like, how would that work if I was a deputy and I had it? Gave my, my longitude, latitude, and then my dispatcher would get pissed.
Yep.
What are you doing?
So I think that's usually why they go through the dispatch and not the person in the field.
You can't be requesting a helicopter.
The field capability is there on the app, but it usually goes through the dispatch.
Yeah,
so you'll get punished if by dispatch.
It kind of seemed cool for a second. And I was like, nah. But realistically, and you know this, where I work, we don't ever, because we're on the wrong side of the ring.
Exactly.
Well, kind of. I mean, but you know what I mean.
Once in a great while, but
I've never. So when I worked for a county before, so I worked for a county for 7 years total before I went to a city. And I bet I'd landed or was involved in landing EMS helicopters 24 times.
Yeah.
In 7 years.
Yeah.
I've been in my current agency for over 20 years. I've never even seen an EMS helicopter respond to my agency.
In my time with the agency that we worked at, one time.
Really?
Yeah. And it was at a high school.
Oh, interesting. The one on the west side?
Yes.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Probably a football injury or something.
No, it was hit by a car in a parking lot.
Oops.
Very badly.
That hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. That's interesting that they did.
That is. So I'm curious what there
must have been some kind of...
Or maybe the ground ambulances were tied up or coming from a ways out or
could
something.
Be.
So
yeah. No, yeah. I'm sure there's a reason for it. I personally have never...
Yeah.
I've never, and it's weird because I remember there was one time, cool story, and I'm not trying to hijack your story.
No, you're good.
But when I worked for the county, it actually was I think I've told you the story, I hope. But it was the company that you work for. And, I said, where are you at? And I'm like, I'm in a cornfield, and it was cut down. So that's where we were going to land. And, he was flying overhead, and he's like, hey, can you put a flashlight down or something? I'm like, sure. I literally had a Stinger flashlight.
Yep.
You remember those Stingers?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I jammed it butt first into the ground, and he landed, and he put the nose of that thing
over it.
If he would have kicked his foot through the bottom of the fuselage, he would have landed on my on my. Yeah. That's how. I mean, that guy was tight.
Well, and I have a picture too from a time I flew along, and same type of thing. These days instead of road flares, a lot of agencies have those pucks.
Yep. Yeah, we're starting to get them now.
Pucks. Yep. So they had a couple of those in the road to mark out the LZ, and he set them right on top of the two. And they're perfectly fine under there.
So totally not related to your job, but just knowledge, because I have you in front of me right now, and I've got 100 questions about 100 different topics.
Oh, yeah.
Where are most of those pilots coming from? Are they military?
Yeah, so a lot of them are military. A lot of them maybe started as like a tour helicopter tour operator, or maybe agriculture. But mostly a lot of them started from the military.
All right. And I suppose that'll always be a recruiting tunnel. I mean, you're always going to have military pilots coming out.
Yep.
Do you ever get, I don't want to say ever, because you did say tour operators sometimes, but I mean, is there a lot of vacancies? I mean, are you quote unquote always hiring pilots or
in a sense, because you have some that move on and do other things, or
I don't know if I'd want to move on from that job.
Right. And I mean, to me, it's a cool job, and I mean, the military aspect is a great experience because you're putting these helicopters into fairly tight situations, on a landing zone that's, not a helipad.
Right.
So,
well, almost every one.
Right.
I mean, outside of landing at a hospital.
Right. So, Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, we might have a couple vacancies for helicopter pilots right now, but
I mean, is there like a formula that for every, because would you say you have like 12 helicopters?
yeah, active. Yep.
Do you have 2 pilots per helicopter? I mean, day on, day off kind of thing,
So
or even more?
they work a 7 on, 7 off. So,
wow.
Yep.
Like 24 hours a day?
12.
Oh,
because
12.
of the pilot duty time. So,
Okay.
yep. So day shift, night shift. So all of our bases are 12-hour bases with staggered start time. So somebody is always overlapping for coverage in that area when another one is shift changing. So.
Totally makes sense.
Mhm.
That makes sense to me. Interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I could go. I mean, I had a friend of mine that was a flight nurse, and the stories that he had was like, oh, dude. Yeah, he ended up getting okay. I love this guy. So if you hear this, buddy, I still love you. But he got let go for not meeting weight.
Yep, that's a thing.
I think something like he had to be like 200 pounds or less,
Mhm.
and he hit like 205 twice.
Yep,
and they're like, we're done.
Yeah, that's a thing. Weight and balance of the aircraft.
It happened to be your competitor, so I
okay, fair enough.
But I'm like, what?
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, man, I got let go. I'm like, no way.
That's one of the few fields where they can dictate your weight. But
is that discriminatory?
Right.
He's like, no,
right,
man.
No,
When you're part of the when you're part of the weight, of the
weight and balance calculations. Yeah.
Again, of course, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But I never ever thought about that. But yeah, he was a flight medic in Afghanistan.
Okay. Yeah.
So I mean, he credential wise,
Right.
the guy knew everything, and he was good, and he had seen a lot of stuff. But apparently he had too many beers or something.
Right. Yeah.
I want to be very clear about beer meaning weight, not intoxication. But love the guy. We're not as close as we used to be, but just because he moved away. But I mean, he would tell me stories left and right. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, you got to be kidding me. And then another guy that I'm going to be interviewing, he was a flight nurse as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point. Yeah. But yeah, interesting. So, so you have the different places that will call you, and then what's that look like? I mean, you're talking to somebody who's feeding you information like, hey, we have a patient that blah 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 blah. I mean, what does that look like?
So you could be talking to a doctor. You could be talking to if we're saying a hospital's calling.
Correct.
You're talking from a doctor, usually a nurse. You could be talking to the poor janitor that they just hand the phone to and be like, hey, call a helicopter.
Yeah. Small towns. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I get it.
I'm
from a small town, so
right.
I know.
Yeah.
Hey, Bob, put the mop down.
Right,
Get on the phone here.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And they're like, I don't really know what's going on, but we need a helicopter. Okay.
Wow.
So we'll go. And and just like any sort of other EMS or type job, like, we adapt to the unknown.
Yeah.
You don't always know what you're walking into. So that's part of your job is to get there and sort it out.
Yeah.
So
well, that's the first responder life.
Exactly. So
again, that was left, not right.
Right.
Yeah, no, I get it. So you're getting certain patient information.
We are. So
and what do you do?
So we're getting patient name, date of birth, obviously, a weight, because a weight is very important.
Well, of course.
Obviously, weight and balance of the aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we do have a weight limit. We're getting, chief complaint, medications running, airway status, any special equipment for the patient, all of that, all of those demographics. So, and then from there, when we get that call's being simultaneously built. So the second that call's initiated, it's on everybody's screen and it gets dispatched out.
Meaning the operation side?
No, well, on everybody, on operations, on the comm side. And then the comm center is taking that request and dispatching the correct asset to it. So
please tell me there's a button you press and it's like, it sounds really cool, like on the other end. Is that how it is? Because we have alert tones, if that's what you're getting at. Yeah, that's what because in my mind I'm picturing like the big Auga alarm going off.
Kind of. I wish I had a recording of it so you could hear it, but
yeah,
the type of tones that'll wake you up out of your sleep. So.
I was looking for a really cool sound, but I can't find it, so that's too bad. It was like, the give me a second here. I gotta find this. Oh, here it is. This is what I was thinking.
I wish it was an air raid siren type cool, but
not that cool.
Not that cool.
Because that's what I'm picturing.
Yeah.
I'm picturing MASH.
Right.
In my head.
Okay.
The alarms are going.
Yeah, you're dating yourself, but
well, it is what it is. All right, so it's not that cool.
So, but we do have tones that get dropped. So, okay. All of our aircraft are GPS dispatch. So, just because, a certain base might be closest to a scene or a hospital, there's another helicopter flying over. Our CAD will always pick or tell us GPS based where they're at.
Yeah.
So
this guy's closer. He might be in the air.
Exactly.
His base is further away, but.
And there's considerations to take into it that if, they need to stop for fuel or, if they're pushing up against the end of their day, they might not have the duty time, weather, all the same considerations still come into play.
And that's probably happening very quickly, isn't it?
It is. So all of that's happening in the span of a couple minutes, really, looking at weather, duty time, and then, the pilots are filling out a risk assessment. So, just making sure that all the risks are being addressed with this flight, all the known risks, and taking those into account. So,
do you have any idea what those might look like? I know this isn't your professional side of things, but just knowledge-wise, what do you think the pilots are considering?
They have a whole list on there. One of the factors is potential for blowing snow on a scene. It's winter. If we're landing on a scene, these are areas that probably aren't, maybe not plowed, maybe not maintained. So the potential for whiteout conditions as you're coming in. Bird migration in the fall and spring. So if you're migrating birds, higher potential for bird strikes.
That is just
just things to take into account and be aware of is mainly what it is. So they'll also advise them of their highest obstacle. So
towers.
So you look, in the metro, we have, you look at like the Shoreview towers. If you're familiar with those are probably 1,000-foot towers at least. So
the two towers next to each other.
Yeah. Yep. So just keeping all those types of factors in mind, and that the pilot's aware of them.
Right.
So
that's just fascinating, and it's so interesting because from the law enforcement side, I go, I need a helicopter here.
Right. And it just shows up.
10-4. That's it.
That's all you have to do.
Maybe when they get, I might be a point of contact, on the ground.
Might be the ground contact. Yeah.
But it's very simple. I need a helicopter here. Okay.
Yeah. So they're taken into, and, some of these things are known at the beginning of the day with what the weather might be doing. Obviously, that's a constant variable, though. If there's any planned maintenance things coming up, or ideally how much time they should have left in their duty day. But yeah, I mean, we're trying to mitigate as much risk as we can ahead of time. So taking those into account, all that's happening in the span of a couple minutes. So from the time that the tones drop, and if they accept that flight, they have a 12-minute pad time. So that's 12 minutes, which maybe sounds like a long time, but it's really not, because they're submitting that risk assessment. They're looking at weather, having a conversation with the operations folks if need be about any risks or weather. The med crew is getting we carry blood on the aircraft, so we can give blood on the aircraft. They're grabbing blood, whatever other maybe equipment they need that isn't on the helicopter. Most everything they need is already on the aircraft. But then they're also having to open a hangar door, pull an aircraft outside, if the weather is not conducive to keep it outside. So there's a lot that goes into that.
And there's warm-up time, I would imagine.
There can be a little. I mean, they're in a heated hangar, so luckily,
I'm in my mind
down on that.
But, I was picturing.
You still have a startup sequence, and they're still doing a walk around of the aircraft. They pre-flighted the aircraft at the beginning of the shift, but they're still doing a walk around. You still have your start sequence and your checklists and your flows and all that that you have to go through. But 12 minutes is not a ton of time.
No, I don't think that's unreasonable.
Ground,
so if I'm hearing this correctly, from the time you call them, ideally, they're off the ground in 12 minutes.
Correct. Ideally, yep.
I mean, I certainly understand
factors
come into play, but interesting. And then flying on 140 plus knots. Yeah, well, that's why they get there so darn quick.
Exactly.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you call, I mean, as the comms side of things, and that's really kind of what we're trying to focus on for the most part. On the comms side, you call them up, say, hey, here's the flight data, not the patient data.
Yep. So we're just dispatching out inter-facility request from this location to this location, or scene request, and we give that. We're not giving an address because it's not like the Apple Maps on your phone that you can just type in an address and be maybe State Patrol could do it that way. But we give a heading and distance. So we'll give a compass heading, so 220 degrees by 15 nautical miles. So at the very least, they have the minimal amount of information they need to point that aircraft in the right direction for how far they need to go.
And you'll do that based on where they're currently at.
Correct. Yep.
GPS.
So and the computer helps calculate that for us, which is really nice.
So as an example, you'll say, heading 180 at 25 nautical miles. So for us normal folks, 180 is south.
Right.
So straight south for
25 nautical miles.
Interesting.
And, sometimes we'll give the city that it's near just so they have a general idea, because most of the pilots are at least familiar with the area they fly in.
Do you ever, so now I'm curious, now I'm in my mind here, I'm on the ground.
Yep.
Do you ever give them a GPS?
Like the coordinates?
Yeah.
Yep. So a lot of them will ask for coordinates, or when they get the initial page for the flight, the coordinates get pushed to a cell phone.
Okay.
So
they do get it. But
they do.
You just want to get them up and going.
Correct. Yep. Okay. So that's the goal with that. Sometimes once they're in the air, during that travel time, the scene, and outside a sterile cockpit and all that, they will they'll ask for the GPS coordinates, and then they'll plug them in.
Okay.
So
I was going to say, because
then you get them there exact.
Well, because I was going to say, man, I'm like, I've seen helicopters come like right to me. I've also had some go off at like my 2 o'clock. I'm like, hey, look to your whatever, and boom, and then they're right over. But that's okay. That's fascinating.
And it's crazy because you're, sometimes you think, well, how can they miss that? How can they fly over it? Well, if you've been up in a helicopter, things look a lot different from the air than they do on the ground.
You're a pin.
And
if it's on the ground,
if it's not at night, like it's hard to pick up those emergency lights too. If it's a scene or something. Right. So
yeah. When there's red and blues flashing all over the place, you could probably see that from 10 miles away.
Exactly.
But that's that's cool. So you're getting them up, you're getting them in the air.
Yep.
Once they're up and flying, what is your role?
So we're obviously calling back the agency or the hospital that called us, letting them know, hey, that flight's accepted. Sometimes we might even have that answer that the flight's accepted before we're even off the initial phone call.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep. So
I bet you that makes the nurse feel relieved.
It does, because they're like, wow, like you guys already have an answer? Yep, we'll be there. And that's what they like to hear.
Of course.
So we're calling back. We're giving an ETA. We're updating them if any delays come up. If maybe, say there's a thunderstorm cell passing through, if they have to divert around that cell, or a snow shower or what have you.
And does that directive come from the operations side?
No, it's the pilot. So the pilot has the final say on everything, but we also operate, and safety is our number one value. Anybody on that crew, if they're not comfortable with the flight, can say no. So the med crew, like, you know what, I just don't feel right about taking this flight. They can say no questions asked.
Really?
It's done. Yep.
So if I'm the flight nurse and I'm getting a pit in my stomach for whatever reason,
doesn't matter.
The Lord is telling
Doesn't
me,
matter.
don't go.
Yep. You don't have to justify it.
Really?
Yep. Now, obviously, if there's a long chain of history of you denying flights, generate some questions. But
right, no, I get that. Yeah. But does that happen very often?
Not often, but it does happen.
Okay.
Where somebody just says, you know what, I'm not comfortable with this. Okay.
Interesting.
Yep.
And that's it. There's
that's
no.
It. We don't question. We don't pressure to fly whatsoever. Any regular flight, we don't pressure to fly anyway.
Yeah.
If the pilot turns down for weather, or if a crew member turns down for weather, or OCC has that power to also say, you know what, I don't like this. We're not doing it.
Okay.
So
the operations side can shut it down as well.
Yep.
Because for whatever reason, again.
And so then that's fine. We don't question it. We just move on to either the next closest asset or another service.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you, in your experience, does it happen very often where a competitor won't take the flight and you will, or vice versa?
Yeah, and that can happen. And I can't speak for other companies, maybe weather minimums or their own factors that they consider, but weather being very fluid, there's often times where a certain base or area might be impacted by weather, but another base can get to it maybe on the backside of the system coming through,
on the
or
backside of the cell,
or maybe the weather isn't impacting the location we're actually going to; it's just impacting that base. So absolutely, there's another asset that could potentially complete it.
Has there been any? Because I know what VFR is.
Yep.
Visual flight rules for that one person who doesn't know, or maybe all the people who are
have to be
listening
able to see the ground.
Yeah, you have to be able to see. Is there? Do any of your airships have I guess what is it?
The capability to
Yeah.
go?
Well, not yeah. What's the other one? Is VFR and
IFR?
IFR? Yeah, instrument. Are your airframes equipped with instrument, and it's a pilot thing, or is it just a company policy, or what?
So it's a company thing. And eventually, I think the goal is to get to IFR, but that requires a lot of pilot training and making sure that your aircraft are capable for IFR, that they have de-icing systems, things of that nature. So your standard VFR equipped helicopter is not going to have the ability to de-ice.
Okay, I didn't even think. Again, it's that thing where I'm like, I didn't even think of that.
So you think of flying through a cloud, that's all
it's moisture,
water vapor, moisture. So that's what's going to start adhering to the airframes. So, So if you're, realistically outside of that, but we have an airplane, so the airplane's obviously IFR capable, and that when the helicopters aren't flying, that airplane is a workhorse.
So the airplane itself, obviously airstrip to airstrip.
Yep.
So I'm guessing they're landing at the local airport, and an ambulance is meeting them there.
So a ground ambulance has to come and either bring the crew inside to get the patient, or sometimes the ground crew is comfortable enough bringing the patient out from the hospital and just load them up in the plane and we turn and burn.
Okay. Wow.
So there's added time with the airplane.
Oh, I absolutely. I mean, I could see that. I mean, you're not landing at the hospital either.
Correct. So
I'm just trying to picture. I know the closest hospital to. Yeah. Okay. Or closest airstrip to some of our hospitals.
You're looking at maybe on average a 15-minute ground run.
Yeah. Depending
on how far, it could be even longer, depending on where we're flying to.
Right.
The airplane can go cross country, if need be too. So
what is the typical range flight hours on
helicopter?
Yeah.
So anything over about 150 miles, we'll look at sending an airplane instead. Helicopter can do it. It's just a matter of, do you want to make fuel stops along the way? And we, sometimes fuel stops with a patient on board is unavoidable. It's just what we have to do. But obviously you want to minimize that and make sure we're providing the most efficient means of transport possible. So, but yeah, about 150 miles. The helicopters will generally hold between 2 to 2.5 hours worth of fuel. But obviously you have to have about a 30-minute reserve in there too. So effective fuel range, about 2 hours. But you think, if you're flying 45 minutes to a facility or, half hour to a facility, then down to wherever your receiving facility is, so that about you can match that or meet that.
I could see why you want 12 helicopters.
Yep. Yep.
Can't get you from the east, but we can get you from the west.
Exactly. So it's nice to have options.
Oh, fascinating.
Going back to, I guess, the original question, what we do during that time. So again, we're calling the facility. Otherwise, we're flight following. So we're making sure that flight is progressing as expected. So we're using various tracking applications to achieve that, including our CAD system. So there's hardware and software built into the aircraft that communicates with our CAD system, so we can see them on our own map and make sure everything's progressing along, that we're communicating any delays, excuse me, and then we're giving a heads up to the incoming facilities, because they have a responsibility to secure that helipad.
Oh, yeah.
And make sure that helipad's clear and ready to accept a helicopter. making sure that, there's no debris on it. It's cleared off of snow, which you would hope would be done. But
yeah, as a deputy, I've been called to a hospital to stand by.
Yep. And so there's a few hospitals I can think of off the top of my head where our point of contact to secure that pad. Yep. And our point of contact to secure that pad is the sheriff's office. So,
well, that makes sense.
Yep. So that's kind of our role, and just making sure everything's progressing along as it should, and that we're customer service based. So communicating ETAs, delays, anything we can do to both help the facilities and our crews, we'll do it.
Now, I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this question, but just for the sake of asking it, you're not asking about insurance.
Nope.
When you're flying out,
Not at all.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It's life safety, I'm assuming.
Correct. So, and I work for a nonprofit company. So we'll deal with all that after the fact. We have, as part of the company, we have no dealing with insurance whatsoever. You need a helicopter, we'll send it.
Yeah. I like that.
Yep.
It's how it should be.
It is. So, definitely patient first. So, and we do what's best for our patients. So even if we're not the closest, we'll find another service that is.
And then once the patient is dropped off at the hospital or wherever the final landing point is, do helicopters, do they rotate bases, or if they come out of X, they're going back to X?
Usually. So the only
That's where my car's
to
parked.
that, correct. Yeah. So usually they're going back to their originating base. Exceptions to that would be maybe there's some major maintenance that needs to be done at, one of our heavy maintenance bases. So if that's the case, maybe they'll fly there. They'll take a company car back to their base.
And that base is helicopterless.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's
Shipless.
part of the business.
It is. So, but I mean, there's mechanics at every base, so they can usually.
So you don't have spares.
We do have spares.
Oh, okay. So is it possible that the pilot, he or she lands it,
swap out?
Yeah, let's jump into this tail number instead.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. So that happens too, assuming that the spare is available and whatnot. But
and do you guys mostly fly the same make model of helicopters? So everybody can fly. One pilot.
For the most part, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, with the exception of 2 aircraft. 2 are a little different, twin engine versus single engine.
Okay.
But, yep.
Now, would it be the goal of the company to probably get everybody certified on those 2?
No, not necessarily. So
Okay.
I think they're gonna stick with one airframe over another. So
Okay.
just try to if you keep the fleet standardized, it saves money.
Right. Oh yeah, no, it totally makes sense.
Training and everything.
So you think the 2-engine one is kind of on its way out?
Yep.
Okay. I was actually thinking the other way, like more power.
Well, yeah. Well, you would think, but it's 2 engines is actually less horsepower. than
Really?
just having one single engine.
Oh, I had no idea.
You do. The nice thing is you do have the redundancy though. If you lose an engine, you can still fly on the other one. But
Interesting. No, I had no idea.
But,
So let's talk about I got the dispatching piece and the comm side of things. Very fascinating.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've never had the opportunity to ask these questions, but when you look at your transition into this career path, what's been like the biggest challenge?
The hardest part for me was that you're not the one responding. You have to look at it from a different view now. You're not the one on scene making decisions or seeing it firsthand. You're dealing with everything over the phone or an app or what have you. So I think that was the biggest challenge, is that, you're not in that front row seat anymore, so to speak. You're kind of looking at everything from a 30,000-foot view, if you will. So that was the most challenging, is, you're the face of the company.
Right. Now I can see that.
When
You're the
somebody's
voice.
calling in and needing a helicopter, and it's your job to get that information and efficiently dispatch out the correct asset. But yeah, you're not the one responding. So it's hard, I guess, relinquishing that control in a sense.
It's an interesting response. And what it makes me think of is conversations I've had with 911 operators.
Yeah.
Is like there's no closure to calls. Do you struggle with that as well, or maybe not so much? What is your
some calls maybe, things involving kids you probably always want a little more closure on, or maybe like a mass casualty type thing. But I don't struggle with it, I guess, as much as I thought I would. And maybe it's because we aren't on scene necessarily dealing with it, and we aren't getting that request from the person directly that needs a helicopter. It's always coming from somebody else, whereas 911, you're getting that information maybe from the victim directly or somebody that's right there. So I think that helps from that aspect. We also have a great working relationship with our med crews, so I can call them up and be like, hey, you just kind of let me know what happened?
Well, just like we do, right?
Yeah.
I'll call the
Like,
ER and be like, hey.
Yep. And the nice thing too is our crews will follow up with hospitals and agencies, be like, hey, that patient called us about, this is where we took them, this is what happened. And so we really try to close the loop with everybody as well.
Nice. So interesting question that I have is you're saying on a 4th of July weekend, you can have up to 30 missions,
easily,
multi-million-dollar aircraft. I'm assuming souls, people, stress. What do you do? I mean, what do you do outside of work that kind of maybe or inside of work while you're working to kind of combat that fatigue, that I can't help but got to believe that you experience it.
Right. And we work 12-hour shifts, so they're long days or nights. Big thing for me at work is I'll get up and take a walk. And the nice thing is that every communication specialist is cross-trained to do everything. So just because I'm doing call intake that day doesn't mean I can't pick up the radio and answer my aircraft when they're lifting off from a scene.
Okay.
So
how many communications folks are on at one time?
We have a minimum staffing of 2.
Okay.
We're working on getting to 3 because 12 assets is a lot for more or less, one person to handle if the other one's doing call intake.
Yep, absolutely.
So, but yeah, 3 is our goal. So we've been staffing towards that.
So you take a walk?
Yep. So I'll take a walk, inside the bell, go outside, take a walk, just kind of reset, get away from that environment for a little bit. The company also does great. We do our own internal critical incident stress debriefs. So we'll do that. We'll review calls. We have peer support network within the company. So that's really nice if you feel like you need that. Outside of work, as you know, I'm avid video gamer. So that's what I enjoy doing. Just because it kind of takes your mind out of the real world and you can kind of go into a fake world for a little bit and be whatever you want, do whatever you want. So
I understand.
Yep, I enjoy that. Otherwise, I'm a traveler. So
okay.
I'm fortunate enough to be able to travel several times a year for work and then on my own too. So big fan of cruises, which we've talked about.
Yeah, I've been talking to my wife. I'm like, I want to go on another cruise. So let me back up just a little bit because I mental note. And when we first started talking, you said you had a story about Fresno.
I do.
I don't want to let you go without hearing about Fresno.
This is an interesting.
Let me have it.
Yeah. And this is kind of and just to give a little background, none of my family members, nobody in my family is in law enforcement. So I was kind of the first to venture into that realm. And what I think did it is in Fresno. I was probably about 3 years old. And you talk about having a good memory. Well, this is why. I was with my mom. And I think we stopped at a bank, like a drive-up ATM. And as she's pulling away from the ATM, car, doors up, blocks her in.
Oh, okay.
So just how we door up.
Yep, at work.
At work, just like that. Out the window of the car comes a sawed-off shotgun into the window of my mom's car.
And you remember this?
I remember this like it was yesterday.
That's a traumatic
response. It is. So, and he asks for her pocketbook. That's how he phrased it. I remember that specifically. So she's fumbling, trying to get checkbook, wallet, all of that to give to the guy. She's not moving fast enough, so he takes the barrel of the shotgun and slaps her cheek with it. Yeah. Yep. So
Fresno.
Yeah, Fresno. So eventually, she hands over all the stuff. He leaves, whatever. California at the time had the 3 strikes law. And I'll back up a little bit. So my mom obviously calls the police. They respond out to our house at the time. And something that sticks with me is how nice and calming and caring that the officers or detectives were with my mom, with me. So that was something that stuck with me. And I think that's kind of why it pushed me to the path I started originally going down, is because I didn't want somebody to feel that way again or experience that. But California had the 3 strikes law at the time. And that was, they ended up finding surveillance footage and places that this guy had used credit cards. California had 3 strikes law. It was his 3rd strike. So he was gone.
Wow.
Locked away.
Well,
I don't know if it was for life or how long, but
I'm okay with that.
Right. And that was kind of the last straw for California and what pushed my family to make the move back to the Midwest. So
interesting.
Yeah.
That's a story I did not know about you. Probably not really an opportunity to share that in
not
general
often,
lunch conversation.
Yeah, I don't usually bring it up that often. But
hey guys, I got a great story to tell you.
Right.
Oh, sure.
Right.
As we're eating our chicken sandwiches or something,
So.
Oh, wow, that is fascinating.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of end this, but I want to end it more on a personal note. You had mentioned you like to travel.
I do.
So where has been your most favorite place to travel to?
So going along with my love for aviation, I got to go with the Caribbean of St. Martin. Island of St. Martin, yeah.
Isn't that the place that's got the runway right on the beach where people get
Maho Beach?
They get blown onto the wall?
Yeah.
Did you go? Of course, you went there.
Oh yeah, I should show you some videos if I haven't.
Oh, you're gonna have to show me a couple because we'll put it on our Facebook page here so people can see it.
So
that is interesting.
Yeah. So that's my all-time favorite because you can sit out on the beach and crystal clear blue water under the sun and watch planes land. What feels like a couple feet.
Did you stand on the road too?
Oh yeah.
Did you get knocked over?
It's part of the experience.
You didn't get knocked
over, but you get sandblasted.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh,
So you're getting hot jet exhaust, sandblasted. Yeah, it doesn't feel the greatest, but it is part of the experience. So
I've seen videos of those guys. I'm like,
some people are crazy because they will get they'll get flung.
Well, I'm like, that's a TBI right there.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
That guy went head first into that.
Yeah, there's some people that'll go because there's a small road in between the beach and the airport.
And the fence.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen the videos. Yeah.
A very narrow road.
Looks like a service road almost.
Honestly, yes, but it's a 2-lane road somehow. And they'll hang on. They'll try to hang on to that fence.
Duh.
Yeah.
So that's been your favorite place.
That is my favorite
What's
place.
on the bucket list of places you
I'm trying to plan a Europe trip. So,
Europe?
Yeah, so I'm looking at start in Germany and do Austria. Kind of do like a bus tour thing maybe. So do like Austria, Netherlands.
Is that
France.
gonna happen or is it the dream?
Are you like I was looking at for this year, so it's
most likely
in the planning works, either this year or next.
Okay.
So yeah. Yep, that's kind of the next like big thing. I try to do a cruise every year, so that'll still happen probably late towards the end of this year. And then got a couple work trips planned too for conferences and trainings. So I get to see a lot of the U.S. too, parts that I haven't seen, which is nice. So, because it's funny because usually you'll text me, you'll be like, "Where are you now?"
I have no idea.
Right? Yeah. You're like, "Wait, what are you doing now?"
I think last.
Do you
time,
ever work?
I was like, last time, weren't you like in Florida or something, and you're sending me pictures of helicopters inside a building?
Probably.
It was
that was one. I was in Salt Lake City in November, and there were helicopters inside there.
I want to say it was.
Yeah, Florida was probably the last.
Were you in Florida the last year?
A couple years, yeah.
I remember you sending me pictures. I'm like, ooh, neat.
Yep.
And then I'm making fun of you because I was like, do you just travel?
Yeah.
Are you the PR guy or
right? Yeah. Some days it feels like it, but
interesting.
It's So it's my line of work has been able to fulfill my travel itch too, which is nice.
So it sounds like, and you're probably not going to tell me otherwise if it was true, but it sounds like you're pretty happy doing what you're doing.
I am, yeah. And, it took a little bit of time. When I first started in my current field, I was really questioning if I made the right decision. It takes time to adjust out of what you know, and you got to be patient. I think that's the big thing that I've learned is patience. So the plan will work out. It's not going to be on, your timeline necessarily.
And my last question for you, and I think you just answered it, whether you realize it or not, but if you had any parting advice for anybody, and I think you just kind of said it right there.
Yeah. Be patient,
and
trust the process, trust the plan. If it's a higher power you believe in.
Amen to that. That's what I would say.
So that's been the biggest challenge, but it all works out in the end. So,
well, I want to thank you so very much.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. I want to be respectful of your time. We tend to get a little long-winded in these episodes. I always shoot for an hour, and we're well over an hour already.
Wow.
So I know, isn't that kind of cool? I mean,
doesn't feel like it.
No, it doesn't, but it is. Thank you so very much, Kevin.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time, and I'm glad you're happy where you're at. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little disappointed that you're not with us anymore, but I'm glad we've been able to maintain that friendship over the years.
Absolutely.
So again, thank you very much, and everybody, if you have any questions, go ahead and visit our website, our Facebook page, which we're going to talk about right now. But until we see each other again or talk to each other again, take care.
Thanks for tuning in to Under Investigation. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you want to dive deeper or stay updated on everything we're working on, check out our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/weareunderinvestigation. We'd also love to hear from you. Got questions, feedback, or a story to share? You can text or call us at 763-634-1210. Your input helps shape the show, so don't be shy. Until next time, stay curious, stay questioning, and keep investigating.